So, good morning, my people. So, today I'll be talking about how to fix lining on our skirt, be it Ankara or Adire, any skirt at all that you feel you want to fix lining, and then you want to fix lining, full lining. Okay, so this is how you are going to do it. Now you are going to cut your skirt pattern. This is what I've cut my skirt pattern. And you're also going to cut the lining. But then what I want you to take note of is when cutting your skirt pattern, let your skirt pattern be 2 inches, or the amount of allowance you want for the hemming part. Let it be 2 inches longer than your normal. You already included your hemming allowance. That's what I'm saying. So you are going to cut your. The thing is, while cutting the lining, don't bother about the waist curve. Just cut, play four corner lining. I'll tell you what to do. Then join it. You are going to join it right side of lining facing right side. See what I'm telling you now? Don't bother with the waist curve. Can you see how the lining is? Don't bother about it. So just cut a four corner lining and join it to the front side of the Ankara. Let it be facing the front side of the Ankara, and then you go ahead to join. Okay, you go ahead to stitch. Now you are going to stitch with half inch. Stitch with half inch allowance, half inch. So that half inch you are going to be stitching it with. Know it that if you are using half inch to stitch it, and your hemming allowance was 2 inches, know it that half inch is off your hemming allowance. So when you are bending the lining, as I'm going to be bending the way you are going to see it, know that what you are bending now is 1.5 inch. Okay, so that way your hemming allowance will still remain 2 inches. Okay, if after explaining and you don't understand, let me know in the comment section. I'll still go ahead to show you. Okay, so now this is my lining attached to my skirt. Do you understand? Now I want to bend it now. You can see. So now I'm going to bend it to 1.5 inch, because my original hemming allowance was 2 inches, but I've used half inch to stitch that line into the main fabric, right? So this remaining part of the Ankara side should be 1.5 inch. Okay, so I'm going to be turning it flat. You know what I'm doing now? I want to top stitch on the lining, but this is not actually necessary. But why is necessary? So that if there's a reason for this lining to start losing, it will not lose again. Can you see? That's the essence of top stitching it. But you can go ahead not to top stitch your own. It's still fine. Okay, it's still fine. But I like top stitching. One, it gives this perfection. There's this perfection it gives when the customer turns your sewing inside out. Okay, there's this perfection it gives. So now we go ahead to fold to see what it looks like. So you can see this is what it looks like. The remaining part of the Ankara is 1.5 inch. Do not forget. Then again, try as much as possible to learn to iron. Anything you sew, you iron. Anything you sew, you iron. Anything you sew, you iron. So I'm going to be turning it back to work on the sides. What I'm doing now is the front pattern. So can you see what I did? Can you see what I did? Because I now want to work on the waist area. Do you understand? I want to work on the waist area of the lining. Do you understand? Now watch closely what I'm going to be doing. Are you seeing that I'm stitching following the skirt, the real Ankara skirt? Can you see what I'm doing? I'm stitching following the real Ankara skirt, and I'm stitching by half inch on the Ankara skirt. Can you see? On the Ankara pattern? Can you see what I'm doing right here? This is for people that say they don't know how to fix full lining. This is how to fix it. Okay, can you see now? So I'm not going to trim out. But then before you do this, don't forget that you are going to stitch your dart. Okay, there's a neater way of stitching that will come in the next video. That is, if I get up to like 20 people that say they need how to stitch your dart without pinching it. So this is my pattern ready. This is my sketch block ready. Okay, with full lining. Can you see? So you go ahead to stitch. Do not forget that I stitch the two sides with half inch allowance, right? I stitch with half inch allowance. So you are going to know that if you are sewing allowance for the side is 2 inches, half inch is off it. So when joining, know that you are joining with 1.5 inch, because half inch is already off from the sewing stitching of the joining. But then you can still choose not to join the sides o, but I'm just showing you full lining, how to do it in full lining. Okay, so we are done with the front pattern. This is the back. Now note that I've stitched the hem area of this back pattern and the sides. Okay, so it's remaining the side for the zip allowance. That's where I have not stitched. So go ahead to just stitch it straight down by half inch. Okay, stitch it straight down by half inch. So if your zip allowance was 2 inches before, just know it that half inch is off it, and what you'll be joining later so that we can place our zip is 1.5 inch. Okay, I've fixed the hem area of the back pattern just the way I fixed the front block. Now know it that if the front part of the skirt, the hem area was 2 inches, that's 1.5 inch, what you are going to get here should be back pattern should be exactly 1.5 inch again, so that it will be uniform, so that it will be the same. Okay, make sure whatever will make your line. Okay, so I've stitched the two sides. I'm going to be stitching the second part now by half inch. So don't bother about the hip gauging, don't bother about whatever you have done on the back block. Just know that first of all, when stitching, stitch by half inch. Whatsoever contouring, whatsoever uh, half inch you have removed from anywhere should be done when you have turned this front pattern inside out. Okay, should be done when you have turned the front pattern inside, when you have turned this back pattern inside out. So I'm going to be turning it inside out now. I'm going to be turning it inside out, the two sides, turn it inside out, then iron properly. Okay, iron properly. Iron properly. So this is my back skirt block properly ironed. Okay, so I will now go ahead to join for the zipper. So it's now while joining for the zipper, you will take into consideration all the contouring. So now the zipper allowance is 2 inches. Know it that you have removed half inch from the zipper allowance. So I will go ahead to be joining my block, the two blocks with 1.5 inches sewing allowance. Okay, so whatsoever that you are supposed to have been done as the allowance, you are supposed to have cut it out even before joining the lining. Okay, cut it out, because the lining is going to be taking any shape that the Ankara fabric is taking. So whatever your allowance is, maintain it while you are joining. Okay, but just know that, okay, whatever your allowance is, you've already stitched out half inches. So if your allowance for this particular skirt block is 2 inches, know it that you have already removed half inch. So what I'm going to be stitching right here, as you are seeing me do, is 1.5 inch. That's just basically what it's all about. No other there's no other. So you're stitching out 1.5 inch. That's all. So the next slide now will be showing us how the after effect, how it is. And if you do it this way, your sewing will come out neat, your fabric will have strength. And more especially with all this new Ankara now that is soft. Okay, this new Ankara that they sell for 3,000 per yard, we call it nylon Ankara. So when you line it this way, it gives strength. So anybody looking at it will not really understand, oh, what is this, the original Ankara or not? Because physically it looks strong because of the lining. So that is my skirt block joined together. Okay, that's my skirt block joined together and looking very neat. And that's my zip space for the zip. That's where I'll be adding my zip. That's where I left open, where I'm going to be adding my zip. And that is just basically, you can see how neat the inside looks. That's what I want to achieve. So, and this is my zipper allowance. You go ahead to iron it down. Please learn to iron. Okay, learn to iron. That's why, learn to iron. So far you iron it properly, it will come out neat this way, the way you are seeing mine. So guys, thank you guys for watching. See you in my next video.